To Tom Murray, he will be doing a reading.
It's pretty good. Hello, 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 hello.
I'll turn it up for you here.
Can you hear me? All right, I'm not used to a mic. I'm used to a crowd though, because I taught history in Bayshore High School for 30-odd years, and then retired. And I've learned how to speak for 42 minutes. Shock, no applause on that one. 42 minutes because then the bell rings and then it's from the heights of history to study hall, detention, or lunch. But I'm new here, and it has been discovery of a new world. And I was asked to write something, and I went back to one of my favorite things about language and poetry. And it all came because of an article. And what I see here, what I've seen here in the rehearsal, and certainly so far this evening, is it becomes more appropriate than I thought I would be. In the poem, we'll take the simplest. There's the writer. In the symphony, there is the composer. In the painting, there's the artist. But that's only the first half of the creation of the work of art. The second half is what we do to it. For example, there was a picture shown last week to honor mothers, and they couldn't have picked a worse one. It was Mildred Pierce with Joan Crawford.
Right.
And instead of honoring mothers, Joan took the story and motherhood apart. She destroyed the family. And I thought, was this what the author intended? Was this what the writer intended? I don't know who the author was. But then I think of other things. And I came across a poem by, shows how calm I am, I have to, Lewis Carroll. And it's a perfect illustration of what I mean. The writer, the creator may mean one thing, but the person who reads could mean something else. To illustrate this, he took nonsense syllables and never gave a clue as to how he meant it to be read. I'll just give you the first stanza, and I'll read it one way. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrave. Soft, sweet, to me, nature. I can see the leaves, I can see the trees. But listen to his second stanza. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took Euphorbel's own in hand, long time the maxim foe he sought, so rested he by a tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burgled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. For frabjous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimbled in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats outran. That's it. And it's by Lewis Carroll. And in case you think he went crazy, remember he's the author of Alice in Wonderland and a few other things. But it's an indication of what the poet, what the origin, what the composer says might not be what the reader or performer or actor sees. I don't know what the author of Mildred Pierce thought of her performance. I can't think of her name. Joan Crawford, right. And there's even other lines. There are poets who deceive us. Shakespeare, the young writer of the sonnets, is quite different from Shakespeare, the old writer of the sonnets. He died at 56. He left no writing, no diaries, no notes. The rest is silence. At 56. And he wrote beautiful poems in the beginning, but then he began to use different words. And I recommend you read anything in the first 10 sonnets and read something in the last, and you'll see the difference. And that's all I have to say, except tonight was a perfect illustration of what we talk about, or what I tried to talk about. And that is, can anyone name me any of the authors of songs introduced by Frank Sinatra?
My Way.
Joel Kern.
All right. There were two who famous, by a professional musician, one, but it's a Sinatra who made the story. There's a woman who seems to be fairly successful. She is a great actress. She is in New York. She wants to do Shakespeare. The first role she's doing is King Lear. The second role she's doing is Julius Caesar. And the third one is Hamlet. Not the play, the character. She is going to be Julius Caesar. And it's not going to be Julius Caesar. It's going to be Julius Caesar. I'd love to see one of the plays, just see how it changes. How it changes our image of Shakespeare. And that's about it. But I see perfect performances. The song tonight, I kept writing a note. Just a quick, it had to be you, Yiddish Mama. Those songs created not by the author, but by that lady. Tonight, for me. I had never heard Yiddish Mama before. I don't know who the author was. And it sounds terribly, but it's not terribly important. But I'll always remember the lady who sang it tonight.
Aww.
And one more that it had to be you and the Coney Island dancer. What choreographer could duplicate that? It's really unimportant. The artist doesn't end with the artist. It also does the interpreter. Thank you.
All right. Well said.